Hi everyone. So now Milana is ready to be banded up. We got her all washed, she's all fluffed out. So let me show you how to do that. Right after the bath, I usually will just put an elastic right below the ears right here, just so they stays out of her mouth, and then up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those out. I have everything ready to go right here. I have the elastics I need to put in there. So you need an easy, like a rat-tailed comb, or for groomers, most of us use a knitting needle with cool little beads on the end. You need a comb, and then you're gonna need your elastics. So I get the little baby elastics. You can get them in different colors from Lane Limited. They got different sizes, so that works really well. So we're just gonna take these out. They're not in tight, we'll just take those out. We're gonna have her lay down like she normally would do. And then I'm going to, comb this out. Like right now, it doesn't matter if she's got creases from the bands right there because she's not showing. But we just wanna get that taken care of. Take any little snarlies out that she's got. Okay, so the important thing is to make sure you have clean lines so you don't have hairs in different areas in there. So you're gonna come first with your needle right behind the eye here, and then you're gonna go straight across. That's usually we'll do the bubble, but when I'm just preparing them for just everyday living, what I'll do is I will come about halfway back between here and the ear. The ear is like there. And you don't want to get the ear hair in there. So we're gonna come here and go straight across and then pull that down. So you want to see that there's a straight line right there. You don't want these hairs over here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna comb this, make sure I don't get those hairs in there. And the easiest way to do a really good top knot is to come from the front and go to the back with the elastic. You don't want to go to the side. It works best if you go from the front. And we're gonna do that. Make sure we don't have any hairs. We're gonna put it as tight as we can. And on these ones, I'm gonna wrap about 3 times. And then what I do, because it has a little pucker for the skin there, you don't want that. So where I'm gonna grab the side of each of her head and then just pull down a little bit. So she doesn't have like little alien eyes there. So once that's done, we're gonna come to the next one, which is gonna be right before the ear. And then we're gonna do another one straight across. Grab that. And it's not quite straight, so I'm gonna come in here and then go all the way down. Now if your dog's wiggling around, it makes it a lot harder, but these guys are trained, they know what to do. So if you wanna do this on your own dog, just practice with your dog. You don't wanna get the band in the skin because then that could cause trouble for the dog. So again, straight line across. And then we're gonna go from the front to the back. I'll do it 3 times. Now I'm gonna make sure there's no hairs. See how it's kind of puckering a little bit there and there? Again, we're gonna take this and pull down, and that will make it so the dog it's not pinching the skin. If you get the skin in the elastic, it can end up dying and falling off, and that's why you don't want to do that. Okay, we have those 2. And then we're gonna go over the ear on this side. You don't want to get this ear hair, otherwise they're gonna scratch. You're gonna go over. Just like this. You're gonna go over this side, over here, just to make a little line. And then, because the occiput is right here, the occiput is that little bump on the top of their head. Once you have this down, you're gonna come about the neck area, actually a little higher than that, and you're gonna go straight across. And then we have it straight, we're gonna do that. Now, a lot of dogs will band all the way down. It depends on the dog's hair, depends on what the dog does. If the dog is a head rubber or rubs their body on the couch, you probably don't want to do that with the bands here because it'll break the hair. Now we're going to do this right here. Now, like I said, these guys come in every 10 days, so I don't go too crazy doing this tight. And then again right there. So what I'm going to do now, there's different ways you can do this. I will put the front two together, and she's got quite long hair. I'm going to pull it back slightly. And you can see it's looser here. Usually it should be tighter, but what we're going to do is put the band about there and go around this about 3 times. Now these are the smaller bands. And then we're just going to go to the end of the hair. Okay, so we got that done, the elastic on there. And we're going to band this back one. And the good thing about the owner of this dog is they come in every 10 days, and then they will change the bands themselves, which is really important. Depends on how the dog does, anywhere from 3 days to a week to change those bands. And I'll wrap it a little tighter at the very ends. Okay, so now I got that done. Now I did do it a little loose. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your comb, and the comb needs to go underneath those bands. So you don't want to have the skin in there, and that's why I did it a little looser. Just because I'm doing it for you guys, I want you to see if you do it a little looser, that's going to be fine. Now, the ears are a little different, but they're kind of the same. They're all the same length. So we're going to comb it, find where the end of the ear leather is, which is right there. So I'm going to put my hand there. And then we have, if the wraps still look good, you can reuse them. If there's holes in them, you want to throw them away. But I try to reuse them as long as I can. But if you want to change them out for different holidays, different colors, a lot of people are really happy with that. So we're going to comb that. If you put an elastic on first, because you can't wrap, a lot of times that will break the hairs. So I know where the end of the ear leather is. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it to right there, and I'm going to wrap it around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this a little tight, and then we're going to wrap this really tight around. And then before I put a band on it, you can either just wrap it up like this, or you can band it. I always make sure you can go through this. Oh, and see, I got her ear leather, so I want to pull that just a tiny bit. So this is why it's important to make sure you check this before you band. It can go all the way through, so I don't have her ear leather on there. And then I have a bigger elastic that I'm going to put right here. I'm going to turn on 3 times, and I'm going to double check. I can go all the way through with that comb. And then we're going to wrap this around, and then we fold it up, and we're going to fold it again. And this is where we're going to put another elastic on. On right there. Now I haven't shaved your face yet because that's going to be a different tutorial at a different time. But I want to make sure I get this up, and so she's not eating that. Because if they start eating it, then they lose their ear hairs and then their top knot, and looks a little wonky that way. Okay, same thing on this side. You know where that's at? We're gonna undo the wrappers. So on these smaller dogs, you wanna make sure you're using the smaller bands on the top knot. But if you like different colors, we could do rainbow colors, all green. Yeah, just check out Laney Limited. I'm not doing anything for them, but I just really like their product. So we're, again, tight right there. And this does take practice to do. I'm just going a little slower so you can see how this is done. Okay, so once I got that down again, I'm going to go through that. So we're going to put a band around it. And then double check again. There's always a double, triple check. We're going to put this up. And then we're going to band that. All right, voila. And so if their eyes look like they're bugging a little bit, you can pull this. I don't like pulling it too tight because then it'll pull on the head and then they start scratching. So you can do different, these are the bigger bands that we'll use like for the ears. And those are used on standard poodles. And then these are the wraps. I usually get the big wraps right here like this. And then if you get the big wraps, you can use them on the big dogs. And then also, once it's a big piece like this, because these guys are smaller, you're just gonna cut this in half. You cut that in half and that's where you get this size that I use. And then you do that. So that's what that is. That's all I have right now for the wrapping of the cute little puppy here. If you have any questions, let me know. Any comments, let me know. All right, let me know what you think, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.